Okay, we start chapter 25. The first verse, according to the Jewish division, is in between. It's like verse that's standing for itself. You can see that the last chapter ends with Samech, which like it's a small paragraph, and this verse is as pay after it, which is like a bigger one, meaning that it's a stop. So it's not very clear where we have to put this verse related to the former story or to the next story or just standing for itself. It speaks about Shmuel died. So this is the end of the life of Shmuel. The book is named on him, but after him, but is only active in the very first part. We say that the book was written by three prophets: Shmuel, Gad, and Natan, the three prophets that were around in the life of Shaul and David. But maybe the most important Navi, we will see that his influence apparently was even bigger than the other prophets, and we can see that also what's happened after he died. Maybe we will see that in this chapter. But of course, he maybe the person that did the biggest revolution in Am Israel. When he started stuff, it says there weren't any prophet at all. And then when he ended his life, it says that during the life of Shmuel, 20 years, all Am Israel went after God. We saw that he could do this spiritual revolution. So even though he couldn't save Shaul, he couldn't avoid the fight between David and Shaul, but all about the authority of the prophet, of connecting between the people and God, maybe he was the best in history. We don't know any other prophet that is mentioned that all Am Israel went after God all his life. Right? So it's something that was special about Shmuel. So Shmuel died, and all Israel gathered and make lament for him. So it's also something special. All Israel. There weren't discussions about Shmuel. Nobody was opposition to Shmuel. Nobody was against him. For example, when other people like Mordechai, we say, "V'ratzui lerov echav." Most of his brothers liked him. Most, not everybody. And about Yoshua, it says that Am Yisrael didn't made a proper eulogy for him. So it was the sin of Am Yisrael, but it's also show that apparently not everybody was totally fond of him. In Shaul, in case of Shaul, it says clearly all the people of Israel gathered. All Israel gathered and made lament for him. And they buried him in Ramah. Ramah was his house, his home. David went down to the wilderness of Paran. So until now, David was in the Metzudah in En-Gedi. And then after Shmuel died, he left to the south. So again, where should we locate this verse? Why the Tanakh is putting it here? So maybe it's like we saw the last chapter, we saw the last meeting between not the last, but the last meeting in this case between David and Shaul, where Shaul admitted that he is going to be the king, right? It's that's what we saw in the last chapter. It says, I know now that you will become king, and that the kingship over Israel will remain in your hands. So Shaul here is recognizing, so maybe it was needed that a formal recognizing of Shaul that David is going to be the king after him. So this is like the fulfillment of the prophecy of Shmuel that David is going to be the king. So it may be related to that. It may be related to the point that now there's no any chance whatsoever to make peace between Shmuel and David and Shaul. Shmuel was the last chance to resolve that peacefully, and this is gone now. So this is maybe the context. We're going to see that the conflict between them is going to continue later. But I think that maybe the best explanation of why is it here. So when I'm saying why is it here, maybe because it's happened here, right? Chronologically, it's happened here. But it's always these things are not by accident. Always it's like it's put there. It could have been put in other place. So we know that it's not necessarily always according to the order, the chronological order. It could have been put in other place. It was put here in purpose. So I think it is related to the story that we are going to see next in this chapter. Very interesting story. We are living for a second the conflict between Shaul and David, and we are focusing on David himself in one of the tests that he may failed, and he was saved as a person. I mean, I'm talking about moral test. So let's see the next story, and after that maybe we will connect that also to the death of Shmuel. So the Tanakh starts suddenly focusing in other place. So just to understand where we are located, we say that David was, I should have bring a map or something, we don't have anymore, but David was in Gedi, which is near Yam HaMelach, the Dead Sea, and then he went to Midbar Paran. Where is Midbar Paran? It's not very clear. Yes, so it says that Am Yisrael, when he left Midbar Sinai, he went to Midbar Paran. So we understand it's in the south, but it's not very clear what specific place it is. Some say it's all the deserts in the south of Israel until Egypt. All that part, it's a long, there are different deserts with different names. All of them together called Midbar Paran. So maybe that. Anyway, we know that it's now in the south.
There is Kibbutz Paran too.
Yeah, it's near, it's very south, near Elat, I think. Yeah, so all this zone is a Paran, but now the focus is on place called Maon and Carmel. Where is Carmel? Yeah, so it's not Carmel, usually we say near Haifa. It's not Hara Carmel, Mount Carmel, which is near Haifa. It's the zone of Hebron. So it's not very south. Hebron is like today driving about 40 minutes from Jerusalem. This is Drom Har Hebron, the south of the mountain of Hebron. So there are several Yeshuvim over there. And the two places when we are speaking that are the stories are happening is Maon and Carmel. So it's closer to Jerusalem, and it's not the far south. And I will explain soon why it's important to know that. So there was a man lived in Maon, but his work was in Carmel. So both of them are quite close to each other. I was there once, a very nice place. It's a desert, but it's like the edge of the desert. So it's a little bit green. It's not totally yellow. It's a little bit green. It's very high. It's on the mountain. So there is a combination of dry climate and cold. It's quite cold there in the winter, especially. So it's special place. It's very good for certain types of vines, and maybe that is the reason it's called Carmel. Carmel like Keren. It's maybe related to that, maybe to other things. Carmel, many times it's related to forests or gardens or some kind of trees. So until today, they are there. When we were in the trip, they show us the Arabs there are still having vine in the traditional way. They are still growing. It's like very low vines. They are lying on the earth, and they are cutting them every year. And it's interesting to see. So anyway, we are talking about this song near Hebron, and like who else came from Hebron? David is also related to Hebron in some way, because he comes from the tribe of Yehuda, and specifically from the family of Caleb and Yefuneh. And this song that belongs to them. So this person apparently is family of David. והאיש גדול מאוד. The man was very wealthy. Gadol is big, but it's translated here correctly as wealthy. He owned 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. At the time, he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. The name's name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. The woman was intelligent and beautiful, but the man, a Calebite, meaning from the family of Caleb, was harsh and evildoer. What raises exactly the question, why did she marry him? Maybe she didn't have choice. It's interesting to see this combination. I don't know if I enter to that, because, okay, anyway, let's see some points here. So he's very rich. His wealth comes from flocks, and now is the time of the shearing. So the shearing is a happy time. It's a time of taking the fruits of our efforts. It's very similar to the time of the harvest. And he was shearing his sheep. Now, the name Naval, it's also a little bit strange. So usually Naval today, how we translate, wicked.
Yeah.
A wicked person. So the mother thought she had a baby. So how am I going to call him? I will call him wicked. No?
You call the name itself.
Yeah. What does it mean? So you can say, some say it's not exactly Nabal, it can be also say as Nevel Yain. It's like Nevel, it's also instrument that David was playing, right? And Nevel Yain, it's like a bottle of wine. So it's maybe related also to positive thing. And apparently also I read that in Arabic, it's also similar to the word wise.
Nabil.
So it may have, there is Nabil. It may have some positive context that its mother thought about, but anyone else understood that in the context of wicked. But what kind of wicked? Ramban says that specifically Naval is something that is ungrateful, someone that doesn't return favors. There is generous. He say there is verse that contradict between generous, nadiv, and naval, ungrateful. So nadiv is someone who gives without even he doesn't have to give and he gives. So this is nadiv. Naval, he had to give and he doesn't. Okay, it's the opposite of nadiv in this context. So this person was even without his name, the Tanakh nicely describe him as bad person. קשה רב מעללים. קשה, harsh, meaning how to convince. You cannot talk to these people. You cannot be rational with him. You cannot explain him and he will explain. רב מעללים is doing bad things. So there are two things. You can be good and still stubborn. It's hard to convince you. You can be bad, but it's easy to convince you. If you are bad and it's hard to convince you, it's a very, very bad combination. It's really hard to do anything with you at all, whatsoever. And she is tovat sechel, smart, wise. It's not very common, again, in the Bible that we see this kind of description for women. There is a Isha Chachama, the wise woman that saved the city in the time of David. There are, many times it says tova, or tovat mar'eh, good looking, yefat toar. Describe someone as tovat sechel is quite rare. So we understand she was it's not because women cannot be wise, of course they can. But I mean, usually the Tanakh is not focusing in this stuff. And this title here, this description is very important. We will see in the future, after that in the story, how smart and wise she was and how good she did.
By the way, what is a Calebite?
So that's what I say. It's from the family of Caleb. It also can be related to the word Caleb. Some related it to the word Caleb, dog, as again a negative description. But it's also Caleb is a loyal animal. Some say like it's come from the word Caleb El, like I'm the dog of God, meaning I'm loyal to God. Maybe it's also for that. So in each name you can have the positive intention of the parents or the reality. But not always go in the same line. But here, basically, we are talking about someone from the family of Caleb. So this is also important because maybe this rich person that control all the throne of the south mountain of Hebron, and is from the right family, has some also aspiration for himself to be a king. Maybe in some, so it's known in Am Israel that the king will come from tribe of Yehuda. It says in the Torah, לא יסור שבט מיהודה מחוקק מבין רגליו. So it says in the blessing of Moshe to the shepherd, right? It's Moshe or Yaakov. I was confused between these two blessings. לא יסור שבט מיהודה ומחוקק מבין רגליו עד כי יבוא שלו ולא יקעת עמים.
It's Yaakov to Yehuda.
Yaakov. Parashat Vayechi. So in the blessing of Yaakov to Yehuda, it says Yehuda will going to be the leader of Am Israel. So it's quite known because in the Torah, everybody knows the Torah, that the kingdom and the leadership should come from the tribe of Yehuda. Combination with Shaul, without Shaul, never mind. Something should be related to them. So this man, rich and from important family, so he has all the right thing that's needed. Apart from what? His personality. We can say that there are two things. You need to have the objective conditions, but you have also to be a good person. in order to be a king. So he had all the right relationships or things that he needed, but he wasn't working on himself. He was a badass. So, but he doesn't know that about himself. He thinks he's perfect, of course. Anyway, continuing the story, David was in the wilderness when he heard that Nabal was shearing his sheep. David dispatched David dispatched 10 young men, and David instructed the young men, go up the Carmel, because it's on the mountain. When you come to Nabal, greet him in my name. Say as follows, to life, greeting to you and to your household and to all that is yours. I heard that you are now doing your shearing. As you know, your shepherds have been with us. We did not harm them, and nothing of theirs was missing. All the time they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. Receive this young man graciously, for we have come on a festive occasion. Please give your servants and your son David whatever you can. What is this asking, petition? Some say it is protection. You said that in English, protection? When criminals say, you'd better pay me something, I will keep your store.
Yeah.
They are doing it here? In Edmonton?
They're doing it.
Huh?
The English word is protection, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
Or like
In Israel, it's a problem in many places.
gangsters.
Yeah. So it looks like David telling them, we were nice to you, now pay. But, so it looks like something negative, right? But David was a criminal that was charged in protection. Only, we shouldn't forget that maybe the protection was needed. So, again, remember the story of the city of Keilah? The Plishtim were attacking Keilah. Shaul was doing nothing. David went and saved the city. So apparently that was the situation in all the kingdom. Shaul was dysfunctional. He was in bad spirit, chasing David, abandoned the people. So what's happening in this kind of kingdom? There are robbers everywhere. And it's maybe just gangsters, it's maybe other nations, especially when you are close to the desert, when there are tribes of robbers. This is a zone where the Amalekim act in this place, in all these deserts from between Israel and Egypt. All this desert was a zone. We will see that later in the stories where the Amalekim, who were tribes of robbers and thieves, acted. That was a territory. So in this place, it was really needed. Now, maybe if David would have gone to the court, they would have told him, you don't have any legal demand. But the reality was that without David, he wouldn't be able to function. So it was a real protection. The formal excuse of the protection is we are protecting you from other criminals, so you should pay us. What's happening if it's really needed? Who would do that? How would they survive in the desert? How would David hold 600 people? This is a number of people of David, 600 people that are making all the security work necessary to survive in this zone, and nobody will give them anything. So he's doing that in a way of asking, but it's really payment. It's a payment for the services of the people of David. And we are going to see later that it really was happening. David was really protecting the people of Nabal. So again, some say that as a negative against David. I think that it can be understood in the context that we are seeing. Unlawful zone where the strong survive, and there is some good person that protecting everybody. So you need to maintain this person, and you cannot do that without feeding his people. So So David even told him, if you don't know yourself, you can ask your servants, your young men that work in them. So David young men went and delivered this message to Nabal in the name of David when they stopped speaking. So it says Vayanuchu, and they rested, meaning they immediately when arriving, they didn't eat anything, they didn't do anything, they just directly went to Nabal and said these things. Only after that they rested a little bit. But the answer wasn't as expected. Nabal answered David's servants. Who is David? Who is the son of Ishai? Remember this term, the son of Ishai? Every time they want to diminish David, they say the son of Ishai. Okay, there's just a young boy is not important. There are many slaves nowadays who run away from the masters. Who is the master? Shaul. Should I then take my bread and my water and the meat I slaughtered for my own shearers and give them to men who come from I don't know where? Okay, so he is humiliating David and diminish him, and of course he doesn't want to pay for the services that is were done during this time. Thereupon, vayafchu, so immediately, he didn't even give them glass of water. And thereupon, David's young men retraced their steps, and when they got back, they told him all this. And David says to his men, gird on your swords. Each girded on his sword. David too girded on his sword. About 400 of them went up after David, while 200 remained with the baggage. So, what does it mean? Let me skip for a second to a verse that you're going to see what David says exactly says. So here in verse Kaf Aleph 21, it says again, it comes here, but apparently it was from the beginning. Now David has been saying, it was all for nothing that I protected the fellow's possession in the wilderness, and that nothing he owned is missing. He has paid me back evil for good. May God, that exactly is what we say, ungratefulness. May God do those and more to the enemies of David. See, this is a way of swearing, of making an oath. I swear, if by the light of morning I have a single male of his. So it says here in the translation, a single male. It's in Hebrew, it's a little bit unpolite term. Mashtin bakir, someone who is peeing on a wall.
Yeah. Is the
So,
only time
is it a male? So some say it's dogs. The dogs do that. Some say it's male. Women don't do that. But it's a term that, of course, it's gross. It's I mean, David is very upset. He's very, very angry. He's very upset. And when it says that put his sword, it wasn't to threaten. It was to kill him. David meant in this moment to kill him. And yeah, so like it's real protection, right? The question here is, was it lawful for David? I mean, is it allowed? This person behaved bad. He didn't do what he had to do. He didn't pay for what he had to pay. Does he deserve to die for that? It's look a little bit overreacting. And here,
maybe it wasn't the first time that it was.
so there are ways to justify it, especially if we are saying David is starting to be king. He's half king. If you don't respect the king, and you will see that that was the argument of David. It's not just you're not paying something. You are destabilize the kingdom itself, the law and order. So if you won't pay, other people won't pay either, and no protection will be to the south. I won't be able to maintain that. So I have to do a strong action in order to make order. Something that would be like an example for others. But it looks like it's not only this kind of calculation. It's look like David is very emotional. The way of speaking, the way of acting.
Maybe he just challenged David about the kingdom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a justification. I would say the legal justification. We will say after that in the conversation with Abigail that according to Chachamim, that was the argument of David. He was judged as someone who go against the king. But it looks again from the way it was done and from the way he was speaking, Mashtin Bakir until the morning, that it was also very emotional. And here maybe I would say, maybe the death of Shmuel also is noticeable. Shmuel was the one, the spiritual leader, the guidance, the voice of common sense, the person that was maintaining everything in order, so nobody will exaggerate folks. Now Shmuel is not there. So David is as a prophet, but apparently is not as central in his decisions making as Shmuel was. And it looks like David here is, let's remember how David was described. The first time he was described in the Tanakh, it was like what? Redhead. Who else is redhead? Esav. Esav. Also something that is interesting here, I would say it's something that Rav Amnon Bazak wrote. In the beginning of the chapter, David is compared to Yaakov. Why? Because he was the one who's keeping the sheep of Lavan, and then he complained against Lavan, "You're not paying me as you should," and it was, we can see later, the way he was keeping, was very, very dedicated. He was really making an effort to keep the sheep alive, the same as Yaakov. From the other side, from this moment after, David is similar to whom? To Esav. Why? Because it says when Esav went to meet Yaakov, he went with 400 men. How many men are with David? 400.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you can see that David became from Yaakov to Esav. Yaakov suffered after Lavan, but he didn't go in a war against him. David here is maybe overreacting. Again, it's something that can be going two directions, but we're going to see later that apparently the Bible goes more in the way that he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have be so aggressive and so militant in this case. Anyway, in this point, David is determined to kill all the people of Lavan.
Nabal.
Nabal. It's the same letters, by the way. Lavan and Nabal. Yeah, it's the same letter. So one of Nabal's young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, so he knew where he had to go. Who can save the situation? So he told her that David had sent messengers from the wilderness to greet their master, and that he had spurned them. Spurned them. So the word in Hebrew is two words here in Hebrew should be noticed. First of all, he says that Shalach David malachim. Malachim can be translated as messengers and can be translated also as angels. Who sent malachim? Also Yaakov. Remember, Yaakov sent to Esav, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim el Esav achiv. The word messengers or malachim, so apparently this kid here, or this young man here, refers to people, not to angels. He didn't say angels, but it's a respectful way to say. Right? The word he chose, he didn't say it sent boys, ne'arim, sent young men. He said he sent angels, meaning they respect the people of David. The people of David earn their respect, because usually this kind of protection of people who guard, they will take from here and from there. Sometimes they mistreat people, or sometimes they do. I mean, this usually criminals, even if they are doing the work of protecting you, they cannot hold the character. But these people of David were respected. David could educate them, lead them in the right way, stop them. We saw in the last chapter, he stopped them from attacking Shaul. So David could manage these people in a way that in the end of the story, people respecting them. That's what he said, it is angels. Now the Yod Vayat Ba'em spurned them. I know what is spurned?
It's a dismissive term.
Right.
Yeah. That he
Uncertain?
No.
he dismissed them.
Dismissed them. Yeah.
It's very strong.
Yes, in a very strong way. Yes. So in Hebrew, there are also, it's not very clear this word, what does it mean? Some say it's from the word eyed, eagle, someone that at is like to attack, like an eagle attacking an animal. So he not only he dismissed them, he attacked them, he insulted them, right? Offended them. And then he said, but those involved had been very friendly to us. Tovim lanu me'od, very good for us. We were not harmed, nor did we miss anything all the time that we went about with them while we were in the open. They were the wall about us both by night and by day. It also reminds the words of Yaakov to Lavan. הייתי ביום אכלני חורב וקרח בלילה. And by day, all the time that we were with them tending the flocks. So what he's saying here is confirming the argument of David. So David had a case here. He really protected them without doing them any harm, without taking anything, and he deserves some payment. Again, it doesn't necessarily justify killing everybody, but the point that David was asking for payment, it makes sense here in the relationship that I described by the people of Nabal, not by David himself. So
Nabal know that because nobody could talk to him apparently. Maybe he didn't know about David.
yeah, but that's what the people told him, ask your people. And he was, like we said, he's a person that you cannot speak with. It was harsh, it was caché. So consider carefully what you should do. For harm threatens our master and all his household. So they also knew that apparently there's going to be some kind of revenge. He is such a nasty fellow. These people speaking about him like that is such a nasty fellow that no one can speak to him. That's what we say. It was impossible to convince him to change his mind or to do anything. Okay, so here is where Abigail is entered to the story, and the way she's acting is very impressive. So Abigail quickly got together 200 loaves of bread, 2 jars of wine. I will say nevel. Remember that I said naval can be also from nevel yain. So this is the word here, nivle yain. Jars of wine, 5 dressed sheep, dressed meaning made, ready to eat. So 5 sheaves of parched corn, parched corn, 5 sa'im keli. The word corn in Israel in this time, it's something that came, I believe, from America. It's not corn, it's wheat.
Well,
It's
in
wheat,
the
not the roasted.
Old English,
Yeah,
in the Old English, in the Bible there, corn means grain.
grains. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So kali, it's usually a roasted grains. It was a way to maintain.
Because for mentioning Megillat Ruth.
Yeah, Megillat Ruth also. It's also many things that are similar to Megillat Ruth in this story. So it says that Vaitzbot lameat kali. So that they gave Ruth a little bit of kali, which is this roasted grains. So it can be wheat or barley or something like that. 100 cakes of raisin. So also here's a translation is they added the word cake because it's not doesn't make any sense that you will bring 100 raisin, right? It's like handful. It's nothing, right? So there are different explanations. What does it mean? But it's not, of course, not 100 raisins. It's 100 packages of raisin, something like that. And the same about the figs. And 200, it says 200 figs, but it means 200 cakes of pressed figs.
She was doing what Phil would have done.
Yeah, and well, what she's doing here, first of all, it's very similar to whom? To Yaakov sending to Esav. Esav is coming to kill Yaakov. He's sending gifts. So that's what she's doing. She's taking gifts this is the payment that you asked, and I'm giving it to you, and also to calm your rage. Okay, she loaded them on donkeys. And she told her young man, go on ahead of me, and I follow you. Again, it's the same as Yaakov told to the angels, you go and I will follow you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal. She was riding on the donkey and going down a trail on the hill. When David and his men appeared coming down towards her, and she met them. So apparently, what does it mean coming down? They were going up to the mountain. So we can say that the road was going up and down. Also, we can say this is also symbolic. David is going down, and she is the one who's going up. David is going down, meaning his actions are deteriorating They are going to strain, you say, his kingdom, to put a strain on his kingdom of killing innocent people. Not innocent, but not deserve to die. So it is going down, she's going up, and they are meeting in the middle. Now, David has been saying, so meaning that what David said before. Right? It's mentioned here to understand what was the mood of David when he met her. So he didn't meet her in the best of the moods, right? He was very, very aggressive and angry. right? With A, angry. Now David had been saying, like we said before, it was all not for nothing that I protected this fellow's possessions in the wilderness, and that nothing he owned is missing. He has paid me back evil for good. May God do thus and more to the enemies of David. So this is again a way of swearing to the enemies of David, meaning to himself. May God do me harm if I won't kill him. So it's some kind of a swear, an oath that I'm going to kill him. What's happened with this oath is not going to kill him. I'm already telling you this, the end of the story. But what happened with this oath? We can say that this oath it goes against the halakha. You're not allowed to swear to do something that is not allowed. Or maybe he was canceling it. There is a way to cancel oath. So, but that's what we understand, that David is very, very determined to do that. By light of the morning, I have single male of his. See what they wrote here? A single male, one who peace against the wall. That was a literal translation. So nobody is going to live until the morning. So when Abigail saw David, so we are going to see one of the greatest speech in the Bible, and some of the terms in this speech they became terms in our language until today. What we say on each matzeva, we write "En nishmato tzrua b'tzrua chaim." This is from this speech, and there is a term of kaf hakela. Okay, we're going to see a little bit. Anyway, the first acting again remind us Yaakov in front of Esav. First, when Abigail saw David, she quickly dismounted from the donkey and threw herself face down before David, bowing to the ground. So this is exactly as the Yaakov said. So it's like, you are the master, I'm the servant. Prostrate at his feet. What does it mean, prostrate? Like falling?
What?
Yeah, like begging. She pleaded, let the blame be mine, my lord, but let your handmaid speak to you. Hear your maid's prayer. So first of all, she's taking responsibility. For what? She didn't do anything. We're going to see. She said, I should have known. I should have done something. She's taking on herself the responsibility. Please, my lord, pay no attention to that wretched man, to Nabal. Wretched man. Everybody is speaking about it like that. The servant, his wife. It's not a very lovable person. Okay, but what she's doing by that is diminish the gravity of the action. He is a bad person. Don't pay attention. It's not against you. Don't take it personal. And this kind of people, you just leave them alone. Don't be offended, and don't. For he is just what his name says. His name means boor, and he is a boor. What is boor? Like wicked? Ignorant. So here it says Nabal u nevala imo. So it's not ignorant. It's interesting. Also in Hebrew, boor is ignorant. Boor ve'amaretz. Yeah. But this is not the meaning, I think. I believe that the meaning, his name is wicked and he is wicked, or he is ungrateful and he is ungrateful. Okay? Nevala imo.
Yeah, it's someone who's
It's kept for certain place in the.
who doesn't act properly. He's crude. Yeah, someone who pees against the wall.
Yes.
Leg.
Okay, so for he is just what his name says. His name is Naval, and he is Nevala. Your handmaid did not see. So this is why it's her blame. The blame, I mean, it was her fault because she didn't see. Your handmaid did not see the young man whom my Lord sent. So what she's doing here first is praising David, taking the blame on herself, and diminishing Naval. Okay, so this is the first strategy. She's mentioning already several times, you are the Lord, I'm the handmaid, I'm the servant. Okay, again, it's repeat the word handmaid, I think 14 times during the speech. Adoni 7 times, but there is another factor here that she's going to enter in the next verses, and this is God. Not accusing him directly, but alluding that this action is against God. It's also going to the moral level, right? You are not choosing the right action. It's not appropriate for you. And it will, like I said before, it will strain your kingdom with blood, unnecessary blood. So this is where it starts. The word God appears 7 times. I swear, my Lord, as God lives, and as you live, God who has kept you from seeking redress by blood with your own hands, let your enemies and all who would harm my Lord fall like Nabal. What does it mean? Again, there is a tactic here. She is describing the decision that will be made before it was made. Like, you already decided not to kill him, right? We know that you're not going to kill him. It's a psychological way of convincing, like describing the reality that we want to be, like it's already happened. Okay, so he said, thanks God that he saved you from killing. I didn't say anything yet, but I know what you will decide. I trust you. I know that you will choose correctly, and Hashem bless you. And also, she's saying, what does it mean that your enemies will be like Nabal? She's also predicting that Nabal will be punished for his action, but not by you, by God. Abigail is considered one of the 7 prophets in the Talmud. It says prophetess. You say prophetess. So the Talmud says there were 7 prophetess. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. This is 4, and then we have Dvorah, we have Huldah, and we have Abigail. These are the 7 prophecies. After that, the Talmud says that there were much, much more. But in the Bible, there are mentioned 7. So where is prophecy of Abigail? It doesn't say any prophecy. So maybe here. Some say, where exactly is the prophecy? So here, she's saying, what will happen to Nabal will happen to all your enemies. So what you can see from here, she could see that something going to happen to Nabal. And you say, that will happen to your enemies, but not by you. Here is the present that your maidservant Abracha azot. It doesn't say present, it say blessing. That your maidservant has brought to my Lord, let it be given to the young men who are the followed of my Lord. Please pardon your maid's boldness, for God will grant my Lord an enduring house, because my Lord is fighting God's battle, and no wrong is ever to be found in you. Until now. Let's keep it like that, right? So they say, you didn't do anything wrong in your life. Don't start now. Okay? Again, all that is saying that without saying that directly. It's all with hints in a smart way, because if you are, it's also very important in psychological convincing. If you are accusing directly, people will become defensive. What are you going to do? You're going to be a murderer. No, I have the right to do that, etc. So, no, it's in a subtle way, to show him the right without attacking him directly, all in a very polite way, etc. And she's again taking, in this verse also, she's taking the responsibility on herself from one side, but from the other side, say, David, you are fighting the wars of Hashem. Don't ruin it, right? Keep doing what you're doing well. And also here there's a prophecy, again, that the house of David will be the house of God, will be the leaders of Am Israel. Okay, I think we should finish soon. I will just read it and we will return to that next time. Okay, so just finish the speech. And if anyone sets out to pursue you and seek your life, the life of my Lord will be bound up in the bundle of life in the care of God. ותהיה נפש אדוני צרורה בצרור החיים. That's what we put in on the matzeva, meaning that you will be saved from all your enemies. Today we say that in the meaning of that the soul of the person that passed away will be between all the people that live in Gan Eden, in heaven. And we will and who will fling away the lives of your enemies as from the hollow of a sling. Hollow of a sling is a term that in the Kabbalah is the punishment of the wicked in the hell. It's called kafakala. They don't have peace. They're always going back and down, back and down. We'll see about it later more. And when God was accomplished for my Lord, all the good promised to you, and has appointed you ruler of Israel, do not let this be a cause of stumbling and a faltering courage to my Lord, that you have shed blood needlessly, and that my Lord sought redress with his own hands. And when God has made my Lord prosper, remember your maid. What does it mean? When the time comes, you should marry me. Okay, we will talk about that. Okay. Okay, we will stop here, and without Hashem, we're going to return to